Videodrome from 1983 is a movie directed by David Cronenberg, who's probably more famous for movies like Shivers and The Fly and Eastern Promises, and the list goes on. So this one, Videodrome, was a film that kind of went way over my head as a kid. It's a movie I didn't get as a kid, a movie I didn't understand as a kid, and suffice to say, a movie that I didn't like as a kid due to those reasons. So I revisited this one at the age of 49, probably, at least 35 years after I first saw it, after I last saw it. And I watched this one with very different eyes, very different perspective on life. And, of course, as you all understand, in a very different world to the world of 1983, or the world of probably around 87 or 88 or 89 when I first saw this one. So back then, of course, it was a very analog world, very different times. People read books. If people played video games, they were probably playing on an Atari, as we see in the movie. They were watching public access television. Other than that, there were probably 3 channels here in Australia. So very different times indeed. And that sort of goes a fair way into explaining why Videodrome probably didn't hit me in the same way then, affect me in the same way, appeal to me in the same way as when I revisited it decades later the other night. So, quite an unusual movie, well regarded by David Cronenberg fans, but certainly it is a very obscure film outside that cult audience that I'm sure you're a part of if you're watching the channel. So Videodrome is basically the story of a guy, I believe his name is Max. He's played by James Woods, who's a great actor, but he's been blackballed, I believe, due to his political views, which is a shame, which kind of highlights the hypocrisy of Hollywood. They're all for freedom of speech till you disagree with the regimented opinions, and he's been a bit of a victim of that, and he's kind of turned into a bit of a crotchety old man as a result, I guess, like a lot of actors have turned into crotchety old men, a lot of our favourite actors for various reasons, and authors in the case of Stephen King. But regardless, James Woods is great in this one. He plays a public access television, I believe it is in Toronto, manager of the station, or I guess content acquisition guy or whatever. Not sure what his role is. But this particular public access channel or cable channel is all about softcore porn for the most part, as I believe was pretty popular in the United States, not so much here with our dearth of channels, but it was popular in the States, I believe, with things like Cinemax, also known as Skinemax, and things like that on cable TV, and other imitators, I guess you'd say, on public access TV. So James Woods plays Max. He's a content acquisition guy, I guess you'd call it, or a manager of this this particular public access or cable access station in Toronto, in Canada. And he comes across a weird pirated stream, allegedly originating from somewhere, of course, mysterious and exotic. I can't remember whether it was Thailand or behind the Iron Curtain, but much of a muchness. Back in 83, all of these places were a lot more exotic, a lot more distant than they are today. And this particular programming is known as Videodrome. It's all torture, the original torture porn, I guess you'd say. It's people getting whipped and degraded, and S&M and all that jazz. The the kind of things that the whole Epstein class are into, I guess, and the whole political class, and the whole celebrity class. Apparently all these people have the same proclivities, which we're slowly learning. But regardless, Videodrome is this bizarre, mysterious stream that's coming in, and James Woods becomes obsessed with it, which is a bit of a running theme in the movie, and it's up to him to find out where Videodrome is coming from, because he believes it'll be the next big thing on this Toronto public access channel. So Videodrome's a very surreal body horror, I guess you'd say, very hallucinogenic. But what struck me this time around were the themes, which are impossible to ignore. So Cronenberg was very much ahead of his time back in 1983, because to me at least, the big theme of Videodrome seems to be massive overstimulation through television and video games and pornography and so on and so forth. And this was probably a bit of a speculative fiction point of view back in 1983, because I don't think I'm the Lone Ranger in thinking that the world of 1983 was about 1 million times less stimulating than the world of 2026. I mean, we're stimulated every moment of the day. You're being stimulated right this second watching this video. I'm being stimulated uploading this video right this second so that you can watch it. So we're victim to endless stimulations, and much like in Videodrome, which is what I never got as a kid, is that when you are exposed to, I guess, an avalanche of stimuli, as we are nowadays, it does become almost impossible to distinguish fiction from reality, fantasy from reality, hallucinations from reality. And the movie really does lay on these themes thick, which would kind of be redundant if someone was making it in about 5 years, because we're just starting to realise all of these things. But it really was quite prescient in 1983. So a very cool movie, Videodrome. As I said, it made no sense to me, or little to no sense, back in the late 80s when I first saw this one as a kid, and when overstimulation was kind of the least of our worries. I mean, back in those days, if you wanted to track down your favourite movie, see your favourite movie, it was quite an ordeal. So no one would really accuse anyone of overstimulation in those days. I had an Atari 2800 as well. The games were fairly rudimentary, for want of a better term, and you'd tend to only play them for an hour or so, if that. And then you'd move on and go outside to play, or go and do something else, go and read a book. And as a result, I guess a lot of the themes in Videodrome didn't really strike me as being relevant at the time, but unfortunately, decades later, they're becoming more and more relevant by the day, by the second, by the hour. And I think we can all agree on that. So if you haven't seen Videodrome in a long time, it is well worth revisiting. You'll find it quite stark in the simulated reality that we call 2026, where it is difficult to tell what's real and what isn't real anymore, which is probably just the way the powers that be like it. So the performances in this movie are great. It has a very indie vibe to it, of course. James Woods is outstanding as Max, the kind of deviant peddler of softcore late-night public access television porn. Debbie Harry, or Deborah Harry, is also great in this one. Well-known musician from the 80s. Some of her hits were things like I Want That Man, if you'll remember that, if you're of my vintage. And, of course, she was the lead singer of Blondie before that. And quite a eclectic career. She's appeared in a number of horror movies and genre movies over the years. Probably my favourite one of hers is Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. But she turns in a great performance in Videodrome as well. So definitely one of the more interesting David Cronenberg movies. by every metric in 2026. It's aged like fine wine. It's definitely not obsolete like most tech. And I think you'll find this one quite shocking, whether you've seen it a lot of years ago or whether you haven't seen it at all. If you check it out, you will find the social commentary in this one, or you might even want to call it anti-social commentary, because it is all about stimulation from virtual sources and digital sources and things like that, and overstimulation and desensitization and all of those sort of themes. And really, David Cronenberg was quite Nostradamus-like in his observations in Videodrome. So not a lot else that I can say about Videodrome without spoiling it too much, and it is one of those surreal movies where plot breakdowns kind of become secondary to the whole experience. So I'll probably leave it at that. Videodrome's pretty easy to see. Probably someone in the YouTube whack-a-mole universe has uploaded it, so if so, I'll pop that in the description. But if you're a physical media person, of course, this is a good one to pick up, well worth picking up. And there's been a bunch of releases of it, so you can probably find it cheaply somewhere on eBay or elsewhere. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick look at Videodrome, directed by David Cronenberg, who of course also made Shivers, The Fly, Eastern Promises. He's made a bunch of fantastic movies over the years, and great body horror movies like The Brood, of course, as well. And that's about all that I have on Videodrome from 1983. So if you like this video about Videodrome, by all means, please like, share and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time, and I hope you all take it very easy.